This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1. Salak. This is the book of Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Then the prophet prophesied against him, and said, Thus saith the Lord God, Yahweh thy power. Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy claws, and will bring thee back forth in all the horse, and all thy armies, and horses, and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even in great company, and bucklers and shields, all of them handling with swords. Ezekiel 38:5. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmets. Ezekiel 38:6, and it reads, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar, and of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, and thou and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a news article that I just brought out, the Ezekiel 38th chapter, in regards to this news article right here. And this is from RT.com, published on August the 25th, 2022, from RTWorldNews.com, around the world, alternative news. And the highlight of this news article, it reads, Putin orders Russian military to boost manpower. The Russian president signs a decree on adding 137,000 troops to the armed forces. It says the size of the Russian military is set to increase to 1.5 million troops next year, in line with a decree President Vladimir Putin signed on Thursday. This is the document published on the government website, adding 137,000 to the ranks of armed forces from January the 1st of 2023. It also instructs the cabinet to allocated the necessary funds for the expansion. The moves comes amending the Russian military operation launch in Ukraine, launched in late February. Moscow sent troops in the neighboring country 6 months ago, citing Kyiv's failure to implement the Minsk agreement designed to give the region of Donetsk and Luhansk special status with the Ukrainian state. The protocol broken by Germany and France were first signed in 2014. Former Ukraine President Petro Poroshenko has since amended the Kyiv main goal was to use ceasefire to buy time and create powerful armed forces. In February of 2022 of this year, the Kremlin recognized the Donbas Republic as an independent state and demanding that Ukraine officials declare itself a neutral country that will never join any Western military bloc. Kyiv insists the Russian offense was completely unprovoked. So yeah, that goes in, Ezekiel 38 chapter goes into Russia continuing to be in that warlike mindset, because Russia represents that bear, in the book of Ezekiel 38 chapter and Ezekiel 39 as well too. So the Heavenly Father is going to stir up the Russians with that continuing warlike mentality, and especially in the book of Joel 3 and 9. Prepare war, wake up the mighty man. And that's what we're seeing right now with these continuing wars and rumors of wars. Nations rising up against nations, especially with the continued conflict going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation and over there in the South China Sea, that tensions, and over there in the Middle East as well too, And this is another news article that I brought out as well too. So I believe United States, because I did a first story on this, and I didn't know they did another additional rocket strikes over there in the region. Because, the United States and Iran, they still trying to find ways to revive the 2015 nuclear deal, And then with this going on right here, this might kind of affect it. This kind of put the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal in jeopardy, as I'm going to read this news article right here. And this is from the New York Times. And this goes into the wars and rumors of wars as well too, NewYorkTimes.com, a news article, and it reads, U.S. launched 2 airstrikes in 24 hours against Iranian-backed forces in Syria. The second strike follows more rocket attacks on American troops on 2 separate bases in northern Syria, killing at least 2 fighters, U.S. Central Command says. It says the United States said it launched 2 airstrikes this week against the military groups linked to the Iranian Islamic Revolution Guards Corps in the northeastern Syria, killing at least 2 soldiers. And it says, at least 2 fighters, slacking. The strike comes a failed rocket attack on an American base this month. Militants launched 2 more on Wednesday, right from Tuesday into Wednesday. So an additional rockets attack, which one of them which wounded 3 service members. I heard it was a slight injury, wasn't serious or nothing like that. It says the skirmish comes in the midst of the talks between Iran and European diplomats, hoping to renegotiate a deal that would limit Iran's nuclear capability, which I highly doubt. It says what the strike last night illustrated is that our commitment that pushed back against Iranian support organization groups, militancy, and the threats they engage in our people and in the region elsewhere are none like. To whomever we end up on the nuclear deal, H. Kyle, under United States, under the Secretary of Defense for Policy reporters in a briefing on Wednesday. It says the White House waiting a week to strike back after on August the 15th. Rocket attack by the Iranian-backed fighters fails to cause damage or casualties at a base in northeastern, meant to say Syria, called Green Village. A military official said that they conducted the strike in a matter of calculating the minimum the risk of harming civilians. It says in a attack late Tuesday night, American warplane dropping guided bombs on bunkers containing ammunition and other military hardware in Deir al-Zor, in a city eastern of Syria. The United States and Central Commands announced in a statement the bunkers were used by the affiliated groups with the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the military says they were not believed to be any civilians or casualties in the attack, which took place 4 a.m. local time on Wednesday, according to the U.S. officials. Central Command announced on Wednesday evening that it has launched a second airstrikes on fighters linked to the Revolutionary Guards following a rocket attack on Greenville, as well as a second American base in northeastern Syria called Kunko. Those rocket attacks between 7:20 p.m. local time on Wednesday resulting in 3 U.S. service members were being wounded at Kunko. One service member was treated and returned to duty, according to a central statement, and 2 others were being evacuated for minor injuries. Mr. Cole noted that the Biden administration was pursuing a restart of the nuclear known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which is the JPOA, which former President Donald Trump abandoned in 2018. Whether the JCPOA is reborn or not, it actually has nothing to do with or willing or resolve to defend ourselves. And I think the strike last night was a pretty clear communication to the Iranians that these things are on a different track, he said. So that goes to show you, since he made that statement, it doesn't affect the JCPOA deal. They was just sending a direct, clear message to Iran that if you mess with our service members or our allies in that region, hey, we're gonna respond with nuclear attacks, airstrike, bombs, warplane sending bombs in the areas and the bunkers where these Iranian-backed organization groups are. We're going to do our best to protect our service members, which is the United States, which is stationed in that region, and our allies as well too. So they were just sending these Iranian-backed groups a message along with Iran as well too. So that goes to show you the tensions between, the United States and Iran and Iranian-backed groups that support Iran as well too. So these tensions are starting to increase more and more as the Prime Minister of Israel stating that the Western allies and the United States allies as well too, telling that they should reject the offer, the current offer that's on the table, the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal. They should reject that, and should not come to any sort of agreement with the Iranians, because like I mentioned before, and I mentioned in my previous videos, because Israel and Iran, they adversaries, they don't get along with each other, So that goes to show you that stirs up that tensions more and more between the nations and different kingdoms as well too, So with that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of the Yahweh Shai. And first and foremost, I like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and a ball.